Moment of silence for the champions, for those who make going hard a lifestyle. Never wait for nothing, gotta get it right now.
What's up, Packer fans? Welcome back to Cheesehead Talk. It's your boy Tramel coming back with another video. And the Green Bay Packers pick up a win in their very first preseason game against the Houston Texans with the score of 28-26. It was the first preseason game, so most of the starters didn't play in this game for both teams, as expected. But it was an okay game for the Green Bay Packers. It could have been better, some good things and some bad things. The Houston Texans had a total of 412 yards to the Green Bay Packers' 237 total yards. Also, the Texans won the rushing category with 138 rushing yards to Green Bay's 95 rushing yards. And the Texans also won the time of possession with 32 minutes and 9 seconds to the Green Bay Packers' 27 minutes and 51 seconds. And the Packers also had more penalties with 12 penalties, and the Houston Texans had 9 penalties. So if you didn't get a chance to watch this game, you would ask, how did the Green Bay Packers win this game? Takeaways. That was the reason why the Green Bay Packers won this game, because of takeaways. They had 4 takeaways in this game, and 3 of them came in the first quarter. They had 2 interceptions and 2 forced fumbles, and they didn't turn the ball over in this game at all. So that's the reason why the Green Bay Packers won this game. Let's take a look at the defensive side of the ball. Yes, the Green Bay Packers had 4 takeaways, but they gave up a total of 412 yards, and a lot of that had to do with missed tackles. Poor tackling, missed tackle after missed tackle, especially on third down. We just couldn't get our hands on the quarterback. We were getting pressure on the quarterback, but we just couldn't touch the quarterback at all. We only had 2 sacks in this game. One came from Reggie Gilbert in the first quarter, and the second sack came for Randy Ramsey in the fourth quarter. We just couldn't get our hands on the quarterback at all. Too many times where Joe Webb escaped the pocket and he slithered away from pressure, and it seemed like it happened on every single third down. We gave up too many big plays on third and long. It was like every third and long that we had, they converted on it. The Houston Texans converted 58% on third down, so that's totally unacceptable for the Green Bay Packers. We got to continue to bring the pressure, but this time we got to get our hands on the quarterback, and we got to make those tackles. It was too many times where we missed tackles in this game. But let's look at the offensive side of the ball. Deshaun Kaiser was okay. He had a rough start, but he really redeemed himself on that last drive that he had where he threw a touchdown to Darius Shepard. He finished the day 8 of 13, 102 yards, 1 touchdown, and 117 passer rating. He had good stats, but he really wasn't great. Like I said, he had a rough start, and he really redeemed himself on that touchdown drive to Darius Shepard. Tim Boyle will come in as the backup quarterback. He finished the day 3 for 5, 40 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 125 passer rating. And he looked good, especially that touchdown he threw to Alan Lazard. That was an absolute dart. He came in and he made some good throws. He looked pretty good in this game. Manny Wilkins will come in as the third-string quarterback, and he really didn't do anything. He went 0 for 2, and he only had 8 rushing yards. Take a look at the Houston Texans quarterback, Joe Webb. He was 25 for 40, 286 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and a passer rating of 71.5, and he also had 47 rushing yards. A lot of that had to do with the defense not tackling and him escaping the pocket. The run game for the Green Bay Packers went nowhere. It opened up a little bit in the second half, but it went nowhere in this game. Dexter Williams had 14 carries for 62 yards. Trey Carson had 8 carries for 15 yards, and Darren Hall had 2 carries for 8 yards. My standout players for the day were Jake Kumerow, Ty Summers, J.K. Scott, Will Redmond, Kadar Hallman, Chandon Sullivan, Raven Green, the Green Bay Packers offensive line, and the Green Bay Packers special teams. Jake Kumerow only played in 1 drive of this game, but he had 2 catches for 27 yards. And those 2 catches that he had were contested catches. And he just showed in this game that he has very strong hands. And he catches everything. And that's why I think he's going to be a lock on this Green Bay Packers roster. I think he's going to make this 53-man roster. And he's going to be a huge factor for the Green Bay Packers offense going into 2019. Ty Summers stood out to me as well, especially in that first half. He was an absolute magnet to the football. He was stopping the run. He was getting after the quarterback. And he had 8 tackles in that first half, and he finished the day with 9 total tackles. He also missed a few tackles, but he really showed he could play, and he's going to get a lot of playing time in 2019 for the Green Bay Packers. J.K. Scott was another standout player. He was excellent. He had 4 punts for 183 yards, and 2 of them were downed in the inside of the 20, and 1 of them actually turned into a touchdown for Equanimeous St. Brown. It was muffed, and Equanimeous St. Brown recovered it in the end zone thanks to J.K. Scott. His hang time on the punts were excellent tonight. The cornerbacks were great tonight. They had excellent coverage. They played a lot of man coverage tonight, and they really covered very well in this game. And Will Redmond was one of the guys that was a standout for me. He showed great coverage. He made some plays on the football, and he also finished the day with 4 tackles. Kadar Hallman was another cornerback who stood out to me in this game. He had great coverage in this game. He made plays on the football, and he also had an interception in this game. It was almost returned for a touchdown. He got stopped at the 1-yard line, and he had a great training camp, and he continues to bring it in the preseason. Chandon Sullivan was another corner who stood out to me. He was out there making plays. He had 5 tackles, and he had an interception. He leaped up in the air and picked the ball off like a ball hawk. Raven Green was also a standout guy. He continues to pick up where he left off at the end of 2018. He was out there making plays. He had 3 tackles, and he also had a forced fumble. So the secondary looked very good in this game for the Green Bay Packers. And another standout was the Packers' offensive line. The offensive line hardly gave up any type of pressure in this game. They didn't allow any sacks in this game. Not 1 sack was given up in this game for the Green Bay Packers. Nice clean pockets for the quarterbacks to operate in. And they really did a great job tonight of protecting the quarterbacks. Special teams look great as well. Good tackling, no big returns, and they look better than what they did last year. It's still preseason, but they look pretty good in this game. Now, the guys who struggled to me in this game were Rashawn Gary and Jamon Moore. Rashawn Gary hardly did anything in this game. He was all over the place, and it was a couple of plays where he was close to the quarterback, but he really didn't look good in this game, and hopefully he'll bounce back in the second preseason game. And for Jamon Moore, what's new? He continues to struggle to drop the football. Going back to his college days, he struggled with drops in college, his rookie season, his second season in training camp, and now the preseason. He really struggled in this game, and it all started with a pass towards him where he slipped out of his route. The pass ended up being incomplete, and he also had 2 big drops in this game. One of them was kind of behind him, but he still could have caught the football. And another one was in the end zone, an easy catch in the end zone that he just dropped. And that drop is unacceptable. That catch has to be made. And he's making it hard on himself to make this 53-man roster. I don't think he's going to make the team. I think the Green Bay Packers are going to move on from him because the guys around him at his position are playing pretty well. And he's the only guy who's really struggling at the wide receiver position. So I think the Green Bay Packers are going to move on from Jamon Moore if he can't get it together. But that's my recap for the Green Bay Packers' first preseason game against the Houston Texans. Let me know you guys' thoughts on the game and who stood out to you. We'll be back on the field next Thursday against the Baltimore Ravens, so I'll have a recap video after that game. But leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Also, follow the social media on Twitter and on Instagram at Cheesehead_talk. Again, that's Cheesehead_talk. Go Pack Go.